Good morning. Welcome to Friday again. Pretty sure I blinked and it was Friday already. This year has disappeared into oblivion, I think. Probably the best place for it, actually, but there you go. Welcome to Friday. Do say hello in the comments to let me know that you're there and so I can wave at you. Sun is shining today. The dog is eating his chew in the background, so if you hear a funny squeaky noise, it's Eric eating his chew. Good morning, Maria, Penelope and Susie. Hello. Maria, I'm very well, thank you. Hi, Kay. Mindy, hello. Vicky. Oh, all you lovely people. You are absolute stars joining me every week. You should get a loyalty card or something. You should stamp your loyalty card. Then you get bonus points or something. Yeah, it's that funny squeaky noise is the dog eating it. He's eating a pineapple chew. So yeah, I apologise for the squeak in the background. Good morning, Caroline. Yes, sun is shining here in the UK today. The garden is looking fantastic. Good morning, Carolyn. Flowers are blooming. Garden's pretty much heading to its peak. Maria says good morning to Pete and to Eric. Good morning, dedicated druid. Hi, Karen, you found me. Thank you. Excellent. I like to be found. I probably need to be found, actually. Or in reality, I probably just need to be left in the cupboard somewhere. That's probably best. Hi, Leslie. You guys are fab. All these lovely names that I recognise that come and support me every week. You guys are absolutely brilliant, and I really do appreciate it. And actually, in the other side of the background, you can hear all the seagulls squawking, which is one of my favourite sounds, actually, is to hear the seagulls. My favourite sound is not hearing Eric chewing on his plastic pineapple. Good morning, Melody. Well, lots of lovely people this morning. So, what am I going to cover today? Well, you know, I pondered like you do. And I realised that I've done quite a few candle spells now, but not actually talked about candle magic. So, hence all the candles here this morning. That's what I thought I'd talk about today. If you have any comments, as always, pop them in the questions. Sorry, if you have any questions or comments, I don't mind either. Pop them in the comments there, and I will do my very best to answer your questions about candle magic, about witchcraft in general, about me, about life, the universe, the answers 42, any of that. Ask the questions, and I will do my very best. Questions are always good because it takes it off in exciting directions. Your favourite, Maria? I'm guessing you mean the candle magic and not Eric's pineapple chew toy. Which is so noisy, it's unreal. But it keeps him quiet, so there you go. Oh yeah, we're back to 4 candles. Oh, seriously, if you have no idea what we're talking about, seek out the 2 Ronnies and 4 candles. Very, very funny. Good old British humour. So yes, candles. So I'm going to start today. I am a witch. I've got lots of candles everywhere. But although looking in the background, you can't actually see any behind me. It's because they're all on the other side of the room. On my altar, I have 3 main candles, actually. I have this one. And this one. I love the candles when they drip like that. So those are my 2 main candles, along with this one, which I'll talk about in a second. So good morning hello, Vaughan. Vaughan's in the front room. Hello, Vaughan. I have 2 main candles. So this one is my god candle. This one is for Balanus. He's my patron god. This one is for the Kalak. She's my matron goddess. So I always have these 2 on my altar. They are quite well used, as you can see. Every time I go to my altar, I light the candles because I am bringing the energy of the god and the goddess. I just do it as automatically. It's bringing in the energy. Before I do any kind of spell work, if I'm just sitting at the altar meditating, whatever I'm doing at the altar, these are the 2 that I light first. They're just simple pillar candles. Actually, I think these came from Star Child in Glastonbury. Good morning, Kerry. That's it. They're my God and Goddess candles. Light them each time. When I've finished, snuff them out. So that's those two. And this one is for my main. Oh, look at that. Look at that wax. See that wax? That's very bizarre. It's formed its own little handle. This is for my main animal spirit guide. The wild boar walks beside me all the time. I deal with various different animals at various different times, seagulls being one of them, magpies being another. But the wild boar is my main, and he's been with me for years and years. The candle is bright pink because that's what he wants. Who am I to question it? I've also got some boar's teeth in the, not his, eco-friendly, sourced properly. Can't get my words out. Sourced properly, not actually ripped from a wild boar while he was still living. So that's my wild boar candle. And again, that gets it every time I go to the altar. Well, I like the God and the Goddess candle, and I like this one as well. And he likes pink, so I'm not going to argue about it. Hello, Eve. Hello, Karen. See, I was trying to think of a suitable Star Wars comment then, Karen, but my brain's gone completely dead. Leslie, did you know that the name for candle drips is snotters? Oh, well, actually, yes, I could see that. That's got quite a lot of snotters on it. See, I do love these things. I learn these things, learn new things all the time. Sue says good morning, Pete, and good morning, Eric's run out to the garden, I think. So that's my three main candles. I have a lot of other candles on my altar that I light at various times, mainly tea lights, mainly just for effect, really, because I like flames. I've got some candles that I use for regular spells as well. But I'm going to go through the different types of candles. Spell candles are my favourite to work with. I've got some here. These are all stuck. If you've seen me do these chats, you've seen these. These are spell candles. Quite small, all different colours. They burn out quite quickly, so you don't have to sit there for 3 weeks waiting for your spell to burn out. All different colours, so you can work your colour magic. They're just called spell candles. I get mine from Freya's Cauldron, but you can buy them all over the place. Just spell candles into the Google search and you will find them. They are brilliant. They burn quickly. I say they're all different colours. Job done, really. I use them a lot. So that's your spell candles. Slightly smaller, quite a bit smaller, are birthday cake candles. Again, small, burn quickly, come in all different sorts of colours. Absolutely fine for spell work, especially if you want to do a quick, short, quick spell. They're absolutely brilliant. Bear in mind, they do burn very, very quickly. So if you're planning on saying a chant, you might want to make it a short one. Otherwise, it'll be burnt out before you've finished speaking. But birthday cake candles are absolutely brilliant. Cheap, cheerful, very easy to use for spell work. Next, we have, beeswax candles. So again, hello, Heather. Hello, Martina. So beeswax candles next. That's these little bunnies. All different colours, made with beeswax, obviously, but they do all come in different colours. You can buy the sheets of beeswax. Good morning, Beck. I love your sunflower picture. I love sunflowers. We've got some in the garden, actually, on their way to flowering, called Black Magic, and they are a really, really dark chocolate brown colour. They're fantastic. But beeswax candles, obviously made of beeswax. You can buy them in sheets. You can buy the sheets of beeswax and roll them up yourself, which is fun, but I'm way too lazy to do that. They obviously get different sizes as well. That's the natural colour one. These are brilliant for spell work because they come in all different colours, but they burn really quickly as well, so you don't have to sit there for hours. But the added bonus with these ones is that if you warm them in your hand or put them out in the sunshine for a little bit, you can very, very carefully unroll them. And once you've unrolled them, you can sprinkle herbs and spices inside and then roll them up. I don't know if you can see that one. That one's got herbs inside it now. You have to be really, really careful because it does crack. If it does, you can just mold it with your hand and stick it back together. But they're brilliant because you can add the extra layer. Martina, please take a picture of your sunflower. I have got some from last year that I will pop up, but yeah, I will post pictures when they're open. I saved the seeds as well. They're brilliant for spell work. But this, you can add layers to your spell because you can add the herbs and spices in, and then you've got an extra layer. So they're really useful for doing that, the beeswax ones. Then I've got probably ones we're very familiar with is tea lights. Hi Deirdre. Tea light candles. They come in different colours, they come scented. I don't tend to use them for spell work because they do burn for quite some considerable time. I do use them in my oil burners quite a lot. I do use them on my altar. The other useful thing about them is that you can add drops of essential oil in the top and herbs and spices as well. And I did it with this one. It doesn't look overly pretty. There's just a sprinkle of herbs, ground up herbs, and then I melted some wax over the top to seal them in. So you can add a bit of energy and magic to your tea light by adding herbs and essential oils. Do be careful though, because when the flame hits the essential oil or the burnable herbs, it will be quite impressive. So just keep an eye on it. Martina, great tip about adding herbs to the candle. Didn't know you can do that with beeswax candles. I don't know where I saw it, or I must have read it somewhere. It wasn't my idea. But yeah, they do unwind. So, and if you can buy the flat sheets of beeswax and make them yourself, it's much easier. But beeswax, when it's warm, it's quite malleable. Maria, Amazon sell them in making kits. Yes, they do. Heather, do love flames. Yeah, I do like a bit of flame. Do like to burn things. So that's tea lights. I don't tend to use them for magic, but they are very useful to use and cheap and cheerful, basically. Next, we have dinner candles, which makes me think of the 1970s when my mum had dinner parties. She still has dinner parties, but dinner candles, or sometimes like that one particularly called taper candles because they taper in at the top. Not to be confused with tapers. I don't actually have any of those, but tapers are also long, thin, like a birthday cake candle actually, but really long for lighting fires. I did try them for lighting candles, but they do flare up quite easily and I got into a bit of a mess. So dinner candles or taper candles, again, I don't use these for spell work because they burn for such a long time. What I do use them for is melting, for wax readings and for decorating candles, which I'm going to show you in a minute. A bit of my Blue Peter thing. Come in all different colours. You could work them for 7-day candle spells, mark off each sections and burn a section each day, like an Advent candle. But yeah, Maria, they do take forever to burn. They're also quite nice if you want to have them on. I've got a couple of candlestick holders on my altar that take these. So they're quite nice to have as altar candles as well. And you can change the colours for the seasons as well. But that's your dinner or taper candles. Pillar candles, which is what these ones are, because they look like pillars. Sometimes they're called church candles. The white one's called church candles. So that's your pillar candle. Again, I wouldn't use it for spell work because you'd be there for weeks. But they're nice to have. I have a main one that I use whenever I'm working with spells and things that I just light as a focus. They're really useful for that. They're also useful for purpose candles. Gods and goddesses. I'm going to decorate this one later to dedicate it to bees. So that's what I use pillar candles for. Container, you know this one, don't you? It's a candle in a container. Da, da, da. This one's made by Lucifer, and I got it from the Children of Artemis shop. I've got a few of them. They smell lovely. Different colours, different scents, and they come in containers. This one's in a glass one. Very useful. Tin candles as well. This is the Reading Room Candle Company. They do some fantastic ones. Oh, that smells lovely. It smells of cinnamon, cocoa, and log fires. This one's actually got a wooden wick in it as well, which is quite unusual. Heather has a pillar candle in her cauldron when not using it. Yeah, cauldron's brilliant, and pillar candles, they go really well, don't they? Mendy, do I have a candle magic book? No, I have candle magic within some of my books. For a dedicated candle magic book, there is one in the Pagan Portals series, written by Lucia Staza, which is very good. So no, not an actual dedicated candle magic book, just bits of candle magic in books. So that's a container candle as well. That one has to be in a tin. I've got a very sweet one here, which is in a little terracotta pot. That came from the Whole Food shop in Glastonbury, and it smells really, really strongly, actually. Hi, Luna. So yeah, container candles. There you go. Candle in a container. And obviously you can buy all sorts of different glasses and candle holders, and this one's for tea lights. Really pretty ones that you can buy. Votive are the next ones. Votive candles, that sort of thing. Quite often they smell. This one's actually called Christmas Eve, but it smells very nice. Again, I don't use for spell work because they take too long. These I generally just burn because they smell nice. That one's lavender. So that's a votive candle. You can use them for spells if you want. You could just relight them each day if you're working on something for a week or, you know, a long spell. Floating candles, the other things, I don't actually have any here, but if you're very, very careful, you can float tea lights in water, in dishes of water. It looks quite nice when you're doing a ritual to have floating candles. They float on the water, obviously. Not a big surprise, is it? Shaped candles I also don't have. And there's something very uncomfortable about buying a candle that's shaped like an animal and then setting fire to it so it melts. I can't, there's something in my brain that won't let me do that. But you can buy candles shaped like animals and figures. You can get male and female ones. You can get 7-day candles, which are spheres on top of each other. All sorts of shaped candles you can get specifically for decoration a lot of the time, but for magic as well. Birthday cake candles I've done. Scented ones, lots of them are scented. You could buy the candle that's got the scent to tie in with your intent if you want to, or you can just buy them to make the room smell nice. So that's, I think I've covered most of them. If you can think of any others, pop them in there. And Martina was gifted a beautiful red rose candle. Oh, it's shaped like a red rose. See, I can't bring myself to burn them. Marie has one shaped like an owl. See, how could you burn it? How could you watch the little owl melt? I couldn't bring myself to do it. Perhaps that's just me. I do horrible things, but not to candles. If you don't want to work with colour magic, I do. I work with colour magic a lot. It's quite a big part of my. No, Martina hasn't burnt it yet. See, I couldn't. Oh, Mendy had a skull candle. Yeah, see, I couldn't burn it. No, see, Eve can't burn them either. See, no, see, yeah, they just sit. They're looking pretty. They're very bizarre things, shaped candles, but there you go. It's just one of those things. If you don't have coloured candles or you don't want to use coloured candles, then a white candle is your go-to. A white candle will cover every single eventuality. So if in doubt, go for white. You can add layers to your candle magic by using colours, obviously. Eve has 4 skulls. See, that sounds like a really dodgy sentence, Eve. I have 4 skulls and I can't burn them. That sounds quite dodgy. Wait, I know what you mean. Beck has one shaped like an angel. Don't burn it, but use it to represent light. Yeah, I think the shaped candles really you use for representation, don't you? Which is, it's the easier way. So yeah, so start with colours if you want to add layers. Carving is always really interesting to do. You will need a sharp object. That could be a pin or a needle. Embroidery needles are quite good because they're a bit bigger. You could use a sharp vegetable knife. I'm very, very lucky in that I have a tattoo needle. I have had several ritual tattoos by the lovely Susie, the bees, the last one that I had, and she gives you your tattoo needle afterwards, which is brilliant for working blood magic with, but it's also incredibly good for carving on candles with, because it is obviously very sharp. So to carve on a candle, take your candle, toothpick. Yeah, Maria uses toothpick, absolutely brilliant. You literally just carve. It could be a sigil or a symbol. So if you're doing a money candle spell, you could do a pound sign or a dollar sign. Just literally carve it into the candle. I wouldn't sort of write an entire essay on there because it would take quite a long time. Although you could carve. I've seen some beautifully carved candles. They carve them, then they dress them with oil, and then they roll them in glitter. And of course, the glitter fills in all of the carved gaps. So you could do that once you've carved it, if you've got patience, which I don't have. So I generally just do a symbol. If it's an element, I might put one of the triangle symbols. If it's for a person, I usually just carve their initials into it. It's up to you how you want to do it and how detailed you want to get. But it needs to be a sharp object really to carve into it. But it does add that extra element to it. Mendy has a crochet needle. Oh, excellent. Crochet needle would be absolutely brilliant. So that's carving. That adds another layer to it and it makes it more focused. It puts the intent into the actual candle. Dressing them, you can do. Is it gone? Right, so I've got some oil here. Another Freya's Cauldron one. To dress your candle, you need to, if you're bringing something to you, you put the oil from the bottom to the middle and from the top to the middle. So you bring it in. If you want to work a spell for releasing something, then you dress the oil from the center to the bottom and the center to the top. So you do it outwards. Now you can use your fingers if you can open the bottle. You can use your fingers to dress it, but I must admit I use a little makeup brush. Dip it in the oil. So if I'm bringing something to me, I brush from the bottom to the center and from the top to the center. If I'm releasing something, then I would dress it from the center to the top and from the center to the bottom. So inwards to bring something to you, outwards to release something. Brilliant with oils. You can use whatever oil you want to. Tie it in with the intent of your spell, or make your own oil blend by mixing different things. It just adds that other layer to it. And of course, you can dress your candle with oil and then roll it in crushed herbs, adding another layer to your spell. The oil helps the herbs to stick. You can roll it just in herbs if you want to, but it doesn't tend to stick quite as much. So just another layer. If you want to just sprinkle a few drops of oil, if you're using the tea lights, just sprinkle a few drops of oil in there. Good morning, Eric. Hello, you come to listen. If you're using a pillar candle, you could just put a few drops of oil on the top as well. It just brings it all in, adds a lot more layers and brings it all in. The other thing you can do is using pins. I have some pins here with the coloured tops to them. Hopefully you can see that. What you would do is take your candle and place a pin. Heather says hello. He says hello to Bazzy. So put a pin in the candle, and as you put the pin in, we're into voodoo territory here, aren't we? If you put the pin in while you're thinking of your intent, you might even want to say a few words, something like the intention of my candle. As the pin drops, the magic is released, because that's it. Oh, Melody's lost me. Find me again, Melody, find me. Once you pin the candle in, that's the point where your magic will be released for your spell. So once it burns down and hits that candle, as the wax melts, the candle will fall out. that's when your magic's released. You can do it with several candles. You can do it in stages if you want to, or you can do it with just the one candle. Welcome back, Melody. Can you use the same carving tool and brush on different spells? Yes, absolutely, Kerry. I just wash them in between. I use this carving tool has carved all sorts of things. I just give it a wash in between, and the brush the same. Just wash it in between. Martine loves a bit of hoodoo. Well, I work with hoodoo. I work with folk magic a lot, and hoodoo has an awful lot of similarities with European folk magic. So I do work a lot of folk magic. Welcome back, Melody. Sue, if I could only get white birthday candles, could you colour them with Sharpies? Yeah, absolutely. Colour them with whatever you want to. Colour them with Sharpies, or you could wrap them in coloured paper, or you bear in mind that burns quite easily. But if you've got white candles, just dress them with oil or dress them with herbs to add your intent to them. But yeah, you could use pens to draw symbols and sigils on them as well. So yeah. Martina, yes, I think I've got your hoodoo book. Yes, I have done a hoodoo book, mainly because I love folk magic. So this is pinning. That's pinning your candle. So as it burns down, when the wax melts and the candle drops out, that's when your magic's released, and you can snuff the candle out and you're done, basically. So that's pinning. What else have we got? Adding crystals. So if you want to work with crystals as well, and I know I've got one around here somewhere, here we go. I use little tumble stones, and all I do is place the tumble stone in front of the candle when I'm working the spell. That charges with the magic from the candle spell, and you can then carry it with you afterwards or cleanse it when you're done. It adds the energy of the crystal to your spell, and the candle adds the magic of the intent to your crystal, vice versa. So you could do a ring of crystals around. If you've got something like this candle holder, they're brilliant because you can pop crystals and herbs in the little dish around it. That works really, really well. So you can add crystals to it, again, another layer to your magic. Petitions. If you have an intent or you're working a spell for a particular person, write the name or your desire on a slip of paper. You can put, so if I was working it with this one, I would put the petition in here. If I was working it with a spell like this, I would put the petition under the candle, put the candle on the top. Or you can just burn the petition in the candle flame. Whatever takes your fancy. Wax talismans are useful. You can melt wax and make it into a talisman to carry with you. Work your candle magic spell, particularly if you're doing one where you don't use the whole candle. So if you're doing it where you've got the pin in it, once the pin's released, you could melt the rest of the candle down and make it into a wax shape to carry with you. You could even mix in some herbs with it as well. The possibilities are absolutely endless with candle magic. You can add layers to it by working it on the corresponding day of the week, or the time of the day, or the time of the night, or the moon phase, adding more layers. Question I often get asked, do I need to cast a circle for candle magic? And this is entirely up to you. My house is regularly cleansed and protected, so I don't worry about it too much. I very rarely cast a circle unless I'm actually working a full ritual. If I'm doing spell work, I don't cast a circle. If I was doing spell work to work with the Fae, then I would, because they're pesky little beggars and you've got to be careful with that. Otherwise, I don't cast a circle when I'm working magic at all. But you've got to go with trust your own intuition on that. Do it however works for you. Hello. You can keep it simple by just burning the candle. You can add all the other things I've talked about. You can do chants. You don't have to be a poet. I'm certainly not. Words from the heart, straight from the heart, I think are much more effective. So go with it. If you pick a spell from someone else, just tweak it slightly to make it personal. It's got to be your spell, basically, so go with it. With the remnants of candle magic, you can bury them, you can throw them in the trash. I would just be careful, because candle wax, if it's a natural candle wax like soy or something like that, it's fine. But if it is one of the chemically ones, then burying it's probably, But if you work with the beeswax candles, they burn down to nothing. So they disappear completely, as do the spell candles. So actually, I'm very rarely left with very much candle wax. Follow your intuition on that one. And just let the universe do its work, really. Maria's definitely not a poet. No, I'm not either, Maria. I want to show you now how to dedicate is probably the wrong word, but decorate a candle for a particular purpose. So I've got this pillar candle, and I've been working with the bee for a very long time now. Bee came to me at the beginning of my perimenopause, and he's still with me because so's the perimenopause. I actually had the bee tattoo done as a symbol of it all. But I want a candle on my altar to symbolize the bee. I'll just take the dog hairs off of it, because that's not to do with bees. So I've got my pillar candle, and I'm going to do some melting. The thing I would say I use the dinner taper candles quite a lot for melting the wax, because they come in the colours, but make sure that it's a solid colour. I mean, that one, you can see it's green, but I bet when I light it and melt it, it's going to be white on the inside, like this one is. I thought, oh, yellow candle, but actually it's white wax on the inside. So better to buy good quality candles if you're going to melt them for the colours. So I'm actually going to use this one to melt, because it's solid yellow. There's one there. I use a spell candle because it's solid yellow. So I'm going to light it, because I want yellow for the bee. I just like playing with candle flames, really. Flames of any sort. I'm just going to melt it and drip it on the candle. It may take some time, but I'll do it as best as I can from here. So if you drip it around the edge of the candle, it will form the drips. And then it will drip down the side of the candle. I will show you in a minute so that you can see. Yellow and white is probably not the best colour, is it? Because you can't really see it. Right, let's just see if we can get that up to the camera. So we've got a nice drippy effect. Let's try a darker colour, and then you can see it better. Let's go with orange. So I'm also going to add some herbs to it. You could play with this for hours. This is actually how I seal my witch bottles as well. I fix the top, and then I drip candle wax over them. And you can make it quite dramatic by dripping it all down the sides as well. It takes a little while, so I'm not going to finish it all, but hopefully you can see. There you go. The drips down the candles. And what I've also got to add to that is a herb mix. Here's one I prepared earlier. So I got some herbs that I thought would work well for the bee. So I've chosen flowers that the bee likes. I've got borage, red clover, chamomile, dandelion, heather, rose, hibiscus, and safflower. And I've put it all in my pestle and mortar and ground it up slightly. So I'm now going to take a sprinkle of that and just put it around the top. And then I'm going to put some more wax over it to seal it in. She said, hopefully, as the light has worn out. No, the light is gone. The light is gone. Where have we got another lighter? Let's have a think. Desperately looking for another lighter. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, thank you. Husband's on a mission. What a time to run out, eh? So I've sprinkled the stuff on the top, and then I'm just going to cover it with, thank you, just going to cover it with, that's better. I'm going to cover it with wax now to seal the herbs in. You do have to be careful when you light the actual candle, because once it catches hold of the herbs, the flame will flare. So I'm just going to seal this in. sealing in all the herbs. Well, it takes a while. It does take a while, so I'm not going to get you to sit here and watch me do it all. But basically, that's it. You drip the candle wax and it seals it all in. Heather says hello. It's flashing past in his sexy shorts. That's what it is. So you do that for a bit longer, obviously, but you seal the herbs in on the top of the candle. You can then drip a few more down the side. And basically, you can tailor the candle then for your intent. And it looks quite fab as well. So you can tie in the colours, you can tie in the herbs, and then I'll have, when I finished it, a dedicated candle for the bee that I can use on my altar. So it's a way of transforming quite an inexpensive, straightforward pillar candle into something quite magnificent, really, and tailored to whatever you want it for. So easy peasy, really, and lots of fun. Lots of fun for the whole family. I'm also going to do a very, very quick prosperity spell for you, because we could all do with a bit of prosperity, really, couldn't we? So I have got a fireproof holder, some oil, and some herbs. So I'm going to do a prosperity spell. So I'm going to dress the candle. I have pine essential oil here, because that's very, very prosperity to me. So I want to bring money to me. So I'm going to dress it from the top to the middle, from the bottom to the middle, and work my way around. Top to the middle, bottom to the middle. Top to the middle, bottom to the middle. Now, while you're dressing it, you could visualize money coming to you. You could say your chant, money, money, come to me. Bring me lots of prosperity. See, there I am, a poet. So dress the candle the whole way around, making sure you bring it to you. And it's now really sticky. Let's pop that over there. Right, I've got a herb blend here. I've got poppy seeds and mint. Really, really simple. Poppy seeds and mint. And I'm just going to lay that on there. And then I'm going to roll the candle in it. Roll the candle in the dried herbs. Sprinkle a bit on. It's like cooking. And apart from now being incredibly messy and sticky, I have a dressed candle. I'm going to pop that in there. I handed a tissue. Thank you. Now I've got quite a pretty candle holder here, but I'm just going to pop a bit of wax in the bottom. Look, you give me the lighter and now I've lost it. There it is. So I'll put a bit of wax in the bottom, just to stand the candle, to secure the candle, really. If you've got a big candle holder and you've got a smaller candle, just dropping a few, oh, the dog's going to steal the tissue, look. Just drop a few drips of wax in, in the bottom. And then you can set your candle in it. There you go. Karen washes her front door in mint every new moon for prosperity. Brilliant. Mint is absolutely fantastic. If you want a prosperity, she says, coughing on all the smoke. If you want a prosperity floor wash or front door wash, front porch, work surfaces, drop a mint tea bag in a bucket of hot water. And then you don't have to worry about all of the bits of herbs in the water, because it's all in the tea bag. And it's prosperity water. So I've dressed my herb in the oil and the herbs. Hello, and now I'm being licked, and the candle's done. So I'm going to pop a piece of green aventurine just in front of it, and that's pretty much it. I'm now going to light it without setting fire to myself. Oh. See, can you tell I'm not used to using a proper lighter? Right, there we go. Yeah, Karen, herbal tea bags, absolutely brilliant for making floor washes, surface washes, because you don't have to strain out all the herbs and they're ready made for you. Just drop the tea bags in bottom bowl of washing, washing up bowl full of warm water or a bucket, and then wash your floor, wash your door, wash all your surfaces. And herbal tea bags come in all sorts of different flavours, don't they? So that's the candle burning. I have actually, this is from one of my books. I think it's from Pagan Porter's Kitchen Witchcraft. So I'm going to say, Lord and Lady, help us to be good with finances and money. It's rapping, that's not poetry. Guide us to financial good, abundance, prosperity, and guidance should. From financial worry, set us free. Let the magic work, so mote it be. And that is an incredibly simple prosperity spell. I'll just let that burn out. So dressing a candle with the oil, dressing it with the herbs, and I've gone for green for prosperity. It is that simple, but you could do it with a birthday cake candle or a beeswax candle, whatever you wanted. You don't even have to dress it if you don't want to. Entirely up to you. So unless there's any questions about candle magic, anything that I've done today, anything else that you would like to know, ask away. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for this week. Candle magic is probably my favourite. It is my go-to when I'm working magic, is to light a candle. It is my favourite. Perhaps it's the fire connection, I don't know. Does peppermint oil work the same if you don't have mint tea? Yes, absolutely. Essential oils are absolutely brilliant. I always put a few drops of essential oil in the water when I'm washing my kitchen floor. Generally peppermint, actually, because it's quite good for keeping the mice away as well. They don't like the smell of peppermint. Yes, absolutely you can, Leslie, no problem at all. Andrea, I've never burned a candle dressed in herbs. Might it smoke more? Yes, if the flame catches hold of the oil, if the flame catches hold of the herbs, it can flare the candle a bit more. I don't have any general problems other than that, but it does make the candle flare a little bit more. Beck, can you wrap a written intent into a beeswax candle and burn it? Absolutely. It does lend itself to that. Again, you have to be careful and have it in a nice big fireproof cauldron or a dish, because as soon as the paper catches light, it will flare. It's health and safety, really. It's about being sensible. But yes, Beck, that works really well. Just be prepared for the big flame. Heather, could you put more herbs around the bottom of the candle? Absolutely. I quite often, in fact, I've got one over here that I have been working with that's got it's got cinnamon in the bottom. I haven't fixed the candle in there properly yet. But that's got cinnamon in the bottom. So yeah, I quite often do put more herbs around the bottom. But again, as soon as the candle flame gets down to the bottom, particularly with something like cinnamon, it will burn. So you just be a bit wary of the fact that you will have a little fire on your hands. Not that that's a problem. You're very welcome, Sue. Eve, yeah, candle magic is brilliant. You're very welcome, Andrea. Kerry, what do you do with the candle and herbs once it's done? Well, the candle will burn, these spell candles in particular, burn down to absolutely nothing. There'll be a tiny, weeny little bit left. So I just throw it away. If it's just the herbs, if I can hoik out the tiny little bit of candle and it's just the herbs left, then I'll put them in the compost bin. But yeah, there's very, very little left of the actual candle if you're burning one of these spell candles. If you have got stub, yeah, I'd throw it away. Or if you've got a decent amount of wax in the bottom and it's all melded with the herbs, you could use it as a little talisman. It would then be a prosperity talisman, and you could just pop it on your altar or keep it with you or whatever. But go with your intuition. When the spell's finished, ask what needs to be done with it. Sometimes it will need to be buried. Sometimes it can just be thrown away. Sometimes it needs to sit for a while as well. Trust your intuition on what you feel needs to be done with it. You're very welcome, Beck. Thank you, Mendy. Thank you. My books are not complicated. The way I talk isn't complicated. It has to be straightforward for me. But yeah, I'll leave that burn down now, and we'll see. You've got it. The candle's already reached some of the herbs, and it's not too bad. But it's only when you've got generally big pieces of herbs that it will flare the flame. But keep it simple. Absolutely keep it simple. It's got to work for you, and don't make it complicated. It doesn't need to be. You're very welcome, Carolyn. Yeah, I do have to make things simple. I like that. Carolyn's put off by spells by all the fluff and pomp. No, I don't do fluff and pomp. I'm a kitchen witch. I have to do straightforward things. And I think the more simple and straightforward the spell is, the less complicated it is, the less chance it has of the actual energy getting confused. If you're straightforward and clear in your intent and the way that you work the magic, then hopefully the magic doesn't get confused either. But bear in mind that the universe does get involved, and generally it can be a total utter git, and it can send the spell off in a direction that you didn't expect. Trust that the universe usually knows what you need, because that's not necessarily what you want. But you're very welcome, Leslie. I love working with fire. Yeah, it's one of my favourites. Sharon, I love how you're so positive about using your intuition. It's a biggie for me, Sharon. I think it's one of the most important things, not just in magic or witchcraft, but in life. You've got to learn to trust your intuition. It will never steer you wrong. The times when I haven't trusted my gut instinct, it's ended up going horribly pear-shaped. So absolutely trust your own intuition. If you feel that your candle needs to be pink or red or green or black or blue, go with it. If you need to put herbs on it, go with which ones you're drawn to. Not what someone else says or what someone says in the book. Trust your intuition, what's right for you. You're very welcome, Kerry. It was lovely to have you join us, and to you, Karen. Maria, have you ever added sulfur with your candle spells? I have some, but too scared to use it. No, I haven't actually, Maria. I'll tell you why, because I tend to work with ingredients that I've got in my garden or in my kitchen. And I know, obviously, every witch should have a pot of sulfur bubbling away in the corner. I don't actually have any. So no, I tend to use whatever I've got to hand, really. But I think you should, Maria, use it and let us know how you get on. You're very welcome, Luna. Mendy, my son was wanting to do a sachet for calm and protection. I may see if he would rather do a candle. My son has sachets in spell pouches in his bedroom for anti-nightmares. So they're good if he wants to keep something physical, but you could work a candle spell and then take the melted wax and the herbs that are left over, put them in a spell pouch, and then he's got something to keep with him as well afterwards, which might work. Martina has ordered beeswax candle sheets, so going to practice rolling herbs and crystals into it. Yeah, you can add little tiny crystal chips into the beeswax candles if you want to, and again they just melt down and you're left with just the crystal chips as well. Yeah, they are fun to work with, beeswax candle sheets, because you can add to it. This candle's burning really, really slowly today, just to prove me wrong that they're not quick burning. Thank you then, everyone, so much for joining me. I hope it's been useful. You've got your tissue there, have you, just in case you sneeze. Thank you, as always, for your continued support. You guys are absolutely brilliant. Back again next week. We have on the Kitchen Witch Facebook group towards the end of July, where we're going to talk about Book of Shadows. So join us for that. I've got a curative magic talk here at the end of August. Details are on the Facebook page. I did a talk for Moonbooks this week. So if you head on over to the Moonbooks Facebook page, who are my main publisher, I did a talk about kitchen witchcraft on Wednesday. The replay's there if you would like to watch it. You're very welcome, Deirdre. Karen's going to give me a Star Wars quote for candle magic. Would be, yes, the force is strong with this one. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You'll like this, Karen. My son is a Star Wars fan, and he has a couple of lightsabers. Him and my son-in-law to be were having a lightsaber fight in the garden a couple of days ago, and one of the lightsabers flew over to the next door neighbour's garden. He had to go knock on the door and ask if he could have his lightsaber back. So brilliant. I like that. The force is strong with this one. Excellent for candle magic. You're very welcome, Beck. You're very welcome, Sheila. And to you, Melody. Yes, the Book Shadows chat should be really good. And to you, Maria, my lovely. You have a fantastic weekend as well. Thank you, Vicky. Oh, enjoy your working day. Thank you, Jess. You have a lovely weekend too. And to you, Caroline. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for your continued support. And if you've got any subjects you want me to talk about, just message me and I will see what I can do. So have you too, Carolyn. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Thank you so much again. And I look forward to catching up with you all next week.